Hey guys, Kenny here. I'm here to review the 2004 religious movie, oh, The Passion of the Christ, uh, starring James Caviezel, or Jim Caviezel, Monica Bellucci, Maya Morgenstern, and Sergio Rubini. This is a very, very powerful film. Very powerful. I think it has to do with the last 11, 12 hours of Christ's life. And it opens with Jesus praying, and he's being tempted by Satan, and his apostles, Peter, James, and John, are sleeping. And his other apostle, Judas Iscariot, receives 30 gold pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver. He approaches with some temple guards and betrays Jesus with a kiss. And one of the guards moves in to arrest Jesus. Peter cuts off the ear of Malchus, and then Jesus heals his ear. There is a powerful moment. And then Then the guards arrest him, and his apostles flee. John runs to Mary, Jesus' mother, and Mary Magdalene of the arrest. And Peter follows Jesus at a distance. Caiaphas holds a trial of Jesus over the objection of the other priests who are expelled from the court. Then Caiaphas questions whether he's the Son of God, and Jesus replies, "I am." Caiaphas is horrified and tears his robes, and Jesus is condemned to death for blasphemy. 3 times Peter denies him, and then runs away sobbing. And I think it's a crow. He hears a crow after him denying Jesus 3 times. And then the remorseful Judas attempts to return the money to have Jesus freed, but is refused by priests. Tormented by demons, he flees the city and hangs himself with a rope from a dead donkey. Then Caiaphas brings Jesus before Pontius Pilate to be condemned to death. But then, after Pilate questions Jesus, he sends him to the court of Herod Antipas. And Jesus is from Herod's ruling town of Nazareth. After Jesus is returned, Pilate offers the crowd that he will chastise Jesus, and then he will set him free. Pilate attempts to have Jesus freed, but by giving the people an option of freeing Jesus or the violent criminal Barabbas. To Pilate's dismay, the crowd demands to have Barabbas freed and Jesus killed. In an attempt to appease the crowd, Pilate has Jesus brutally scourged and mocked with a crown of thorns. Yet the crowd continues to demand that Jesus be crucified. Pilate is left with no choice but to reluctantly order Jesus' crucifixion. As Jesus carries the cross along to the Via Dolorosa to Calvary, this woman Veronica wipes Jesus' face with her veil, her little cloth. And then there's Simon of Cyrene is unwillingly pressed into carrying the cross for Jesus. Jesus is then crucified. As he hangs from the cross, Jesus prays forgiveness for those who did this to him and redeems a criminal crucified next to him. After Jesus gives up his spirit and dies, a single drop of rain falls from the sky, triggering an earthquake which destroys the temple and rips the cloth covering the Holy of Holies in two. To the horror of Caiaphas and the other priests, Satan is then shown screaming in defeat in hell. Jesus is lowered from the cross to his mother Mary, who looks directly at the audience in this. The picture ends with Jesus being resurrected and exiting his tomb with the holes in his hands from the nails visible as he walks, having triumphed over Satan in his temptation. Now, passion means it's during the chastising of Christ, as I recall, and that chastising scene is heart-wrenching, and they speak. The languages that are spoken in this are Aramaic, Latin, and Hebrew, and Jesus is able to speak probably all three of them in this. And and the moment when Pilate is questioning Christ, I think Christ speaks Latin, and that surprises Pilate and the guard that's standing directly behind Jesus, or kind of on the right of him. Pilate is married, and after she has this dream and tells Pilate to not pay no mind to this Christ. She says she's had a dream about him, that no good will come from what will happen, what's about to happen to him. Then Christ, as he's being questioned by Pilate, he tells something about truth. Then Pilate talks with his wife about truth. What is truth? The makeup job that was done during the chastising was incredible, and the visual effects were astounding. After the chastising was done, it is heart-wrenching and gruesome, and makes you almost want to throw up of how bad his body is ripped up. Pilate really does try to get the people to see reason and free him, but he won't. If you haven't already, I would highly appreciate it if you would subscribe over here if you're watching the video by itself, or subscribe down here if you're watching the video on my channel.